What's up, guys, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Sinister Files. If you like what you see or hear, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to stay up to date on all my newest content. So this story happened about 11 years ago. I was a senior in high school at the time, but it is the most craziest thing that I've ever experienced. It's also important to note that this happened in mid-December. I'm from Iowa, and all the winters here get cold at night. Like if you go outside and get stuck, you will die kind of cold. That plus the snowflakes make everything dead silent. You can hear anything and everything inside the house and immediately outside of it. While me and my best friend were hanging out in the family's walkout basement just having a boring winter night playing video games, we were also the only ones home. The reason for that was because my mom decided to go out to get a couple of drinks with coworkers right after work. So me and my friend decided and thought it would be a good idea to break into the family wine and live a little. As we were sitting there, opening up the first bottle, I heard the door to the garage open and slam shut. I immediately go, "Oh shit," and start looking for a place to hide the bottle. My friend then says, "I thought you said your mom was supposed to be out all night." "She was," I replied. I then heard a few heavy stomps and hear my mother yell, "Honey, anyone home?" I yell back up the stairs, "Yep, just hanging out in the basement." I hear a few more steps move from the garage door towards the stairs, and she yells out again, "Can you come help me with something? I need your help up here." I reply back while frantically trying to find a good place to hide the bottle. "Yup, give me a few minutes." Then there was silence for about 20 seconds. "Anyone down there with you?" she yelled back in a more concerned, serious tone, in a voice that was slightly off than my mother's. This was the first thing that told me something wasn't right. Our family never cared if anyone was over, as our house was a very open house to all family and friends, and the voice, it was just wrong. Like it sounded like my mother, but it was something missing that I couldn't really put my finger on. Worded out, I reply, "Just Colton." After I yelled that back to her, I found a good place to hide the bottle and began walking upstairs to the next level. Now, as I was walking up the steps, I couldn't help but feel the overbearing silence of the house, and I kept getting the feeling that something wasn't right. When I got to the top of the steps, I look over to where the door to the garage is, and also the kitchen right next to it, and it's black, pitch black. All the lights were off, and there was no moonlight shining through the windows. I walked over to the kitchen yelling, "Mom, where are you?" There was no reply, just silence and darkness. I feel the electric twinge turn into full needles and my adrenaline kicking in full force. I have to get out of here as fast as possible. My mother was not home. I run back down the stairs, grabbing my coat along the way. "What's wrong?" Colton says. "My mom's not home." I reply as fast as I can, looking for my truck keys. "What do you mean? You were just talking with her." I could see the confusion in his face. "There's no one home. We need to leave now." I took a few steps toward the back door that opens up to the yard when I see my dog shaking on the couch and my cat growling behind it. I couldn't leave them. I knew that if I left, something would happen. "Are we leaving?" Colton said, still confused as hell. "No, I can't leave them here alone. Something is really off. I'm going to call my mom and figure this out." I pull out my phone and call my mom. She picks up immediately. "Honey, what's going on?" she answers. "Mom, are you just home? I heard you yelling for me from the second level, and when I went up there wasn't nobody." Hoping that she was playing a joke. "No, I'm just leaving the bar. I wasn't feeling very well. Are you okay?" "What do you mean you heard me?" I fill her in on the whole story and she rushes home. Colin and I stayed in the basement with the animals until she got home, but before she did, you could hear something upstairs. Not walking or sitting on things, but pressure in the air. Like a black hole was slowly moving from one room to the next, and the word that I would instinctively describe it as hungry. When she got home, you could feel the thing leave just as quickly as it came, like an overbearing predatory presence that just flown away. We still never figured out what the hell was going on. My mother has passed away now, and I have moved to Arizona. But whenever I go back to Iowa and I see Colin, he still gets creeped out when we talk about it. I will never truly know what happened, but I know whatever it was, it had my mother's voice, and it was evil, and it was hungry. For background, I'm an 18-year-old female in my first semester of college. I've always seemed to get a lot of attention from guys and tend to attract some pretty creepy ones for some reason. Probably because I'm overly nice and have a hard time just telling people to fuck off when I get a bad vibe from them. Anyways, I decided to get on Tinder over the summer due to quarantine. All of my classes for college are online, so I'm not able to meet any people. I thought if I got Tinder, I could get to know some people from my university, maybe even go on some dates. I got a lot of matches. Some guys were really nice and cool to talk to, and obviously there were some people just wanting to hook up, which I'm not into. But nothing too abnormal. That's what Tinder's mainly for after all. After a few months, I ended up matching with a guy from out of state. We matched because he was in my area for work. He was 8 years older than me, but I didn't mind. First red flag right there. He seemed pretty nice, and he asked for my snap, so I gave it to him. He talked a little, and within a couple of days, he became very clingy and obsessive. I have an extremely busy major, and most of my time is taken up from school because of this. I'm not always on my phone and cannot answer messages right away. If I didn't answer for an hour or two, he would message me back again and again. He said things like, "Why won't you talk to me? Are you seeing someone else? I wouldn't be surprised, you're so beautiful, and I need you." I thought this was very strange as I just started talking to him and we clearly weren't seeing each other. I explained to him that I'm very busy with school and it was nothing personal. He said he respected that and texted me constantly telling me he needed me and asking why I was ignoring him. He started talking about driving 2 hours to see me. I was weirded out, but I assumed that he was just lonely and desperate. I felt bad, so I tried to brush it off and answer when I could because he didn't really do anything too concerning and stupid. I know. This continued for a few weeks and I started to get extremely annoyed. I had a bad gut feeling about this guy. He started talking sexual and I told him I wasn't into that. He apologized and he said he would stop. He didn't. No surprise there. So I started ignoring his messages. He apologized and I called him out for it. He continuously apologized and I left him on red. He started Snapchatting me pictures and constantly messaged me, so I added him. Then he texted me with another apology and said he hoped that he could take me on a date that we talked about. Even though I never expressed interest in going on a date, I ignored the message too and moved on with my life. About 2 weeks later, I got a message that simply said, "I'm sorry." I ignored that too. He didn't message me after that, and it soon slipped my mind once again. Later that week, I had a dream about him breaking into my house and attempting to kidnap me. I started thinking about it again, so I tried looking him up on Instagram. He didn't have an Instagram, which I didn't think was too weird because I know some people that only use Facebook. So I tried looking him up on there. He didn't have a Facebook either. Now that was weird. Most people will have one or the other, if not both. I thought it was so strange that this guy didn't have any form of social media besides Snapchat and Tinder. I wondered if he used a fake name and then decided to try one last thing. I searched his name on Google. What I found made my blood run cold. The first thing that came up was an article for his arrest back in January with his mugshot. He was arrested for child pornography. They found several photos of underage girls on his phone. He was released on bail a few years later. I was absolutely disgusted. This man was a predator. He was free to do as he pleased and prey on younger girls. When I think about it, my guess is that he saw I was 18 and thought he could get something from a young girl without getting in too much trouble because I am legally an adult. I'm not stupid enough to send any revealing photos or videos. I'm so glad I stopped being so nice and listened to my gut when things progressed. I don't know what would have happened if I didn't, and I wonder if my dream was a sign for me to look into who he was. It still creeps me out that he was obsessed with me when I didn't even talk to him for very long at all.
So thank you for watching another episode of the Sinister Files. Remember to like and subscribe, and to stay up to date on all my newest content, go ahead and turn on the notifications. Thank you for watching.